Hello everyone, welcome to our fifth episode of LifeTalks by Spiritual Guides. I'm your host Shreya Vyas. I'm a counselor and hypnotherapist and working with IHRs as a psychology intern. Today we have with us Acharya Gunamuktananda, and he is going to share his experience with the philosophy of Ananda Marga. Before we begin, I would like everyone watching us to feel free to ask any question in the comment section and we will surely answer them. You may also start a watch party on Facebook so that your friends may also benefit from this. Two lines for the organization that we IHRs focuses on helping psychologists, coaches, trainers develop advanced coaching and therapeutic skills and also spread awareness about mental health through the workshop, seminars and various activities. We also provide a various counseling service and sense of community to the various communities through support groups and a subsidized mental health clinic. Before we moving ahead, I would also like to share the purpose of this webinar. In the world we are living today, spiritual groups are playing major source of support system for the people, both in the journey of discovering themselves when they are personally facing any emotional issue. Having said that, they are not a replacement of visiting a mental health practitioner. So today we have invited a group of spiritual practitioners so that we can provide the people with a better understanding of the philosophy the different spiritual groups carry. And this will also help the people to understand the views of guru, leaders of the spiritual path in terms of mental health issues. So I'm so glad that you are here, Dada.
I'm very happy to be here with you. Namaskar to everybody.
Namaskar. Let me give you a brief introduction about Dada. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dada Gunamuktananda, trained in meditation, yoga, philosophy, and natural health science in Australia, the Philippines, and India. He is one of the senior teacher of the Ananda Marga, and he has been qualified meditation teacher of Ananda Marga since 1995. And he has taught meditation in Europe, North Africa, Middle East, and North America. Some of the events Dada has presented at include Yoga Festival, Straight Light Festival, TEDx Nosa, Whole Life Exposure, Bliss Festival, Body, Mind, Spirit, and many more. He has also introduced the International Medical Students Meeting and online leadership training course. Once again, welcome to our fifth episode of Life Talks by Spiritual Guide.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So before moving ahead, Dada, I would like to say hi to everyone who is joining us. So you won't be able to see because we are on Facebook. So hello everybody. Hi Mansi. Hi Pritika. Thanks for joining us. And if you have any doubt related to Ananda Marga philosophy, please write in the comment section and we would surely answer. Yes.
We'll surely try.
Yes. Yes. So we would love to know more about you and your spiritual journey into the spiritual domain. So could you please throw some light on how you got introduced to the spiritual group?
Well, I was searching for a long time for some deeper meaning in life. I had been at university and I hadn't really been interested in what I was studying. I was just doing it for something to do. And then I dropped out of that. And then I started my search and I thought, oh, there must be something more to life. And I was searching, I was reading a lot of books about spirituality, meditation, different spiritual paths, mostly yoga based. And then, you know, there is a saying in yoga that when your desire for spiritual knowledge gets strong enough, then it will be fulfilled in one way or another. When a disciple is ready, the guru arrives. So actually, I developed a very strong desire for a guru figure. A guru meaning the higher power teaching you in some form, through some form. And so I resolved not to read anymore and to do something practical. The following day, because I used to go into the city once a week, the following day I went into the city, and everywhere I looked, I saw these posters, Learn Meditation by Acharya so-and-so, name similar to mine. And it was that evening in the library. And so wherever I went, I saw this. So I thought, okay, there must be some something in this. So I went to it, and then I found what I was looking for. So that's how I found Ananda Marga. I remember uh, they had a question when the speaker, the the Dada that was speaking, he was talking, and everything everything that he was talking to I could relate to because it was relating to what I had read. And then a lady, then they had a question session afterwards, and a lady, she asked a really, you know, a kind of a kind of a what she thought was a funny question. He was dressed like me in orange. She said, "Do you have an orange halo also?" And he thought, "Oh my!" And then I said, "How? Okay, you talked about the theory of meditation. How do you actually do it?" And then he said, "Good question." So,
Yes,
so I felt that from that point, that moment onwards, I had found my path. Hmm. So that's how I
great,
found it.
amazing,
What else would you like to know?
it's amazing. So, Dada, to build up this question, after listening to this, I'm very curious to know what is the essence of the philosophy you follow. So, it would be great if you could share some of the primary principle of this philosophy.
So the philosophy is very simple. So we are all one consciousness. Universal consciousness is everything. It exists within everything, and everything exists within it. Everything in the universe is part of, not only part of, but one with that universal consciousness. Like a wave, there are many waves on top of the sea, but all the waves are one with the sea. They're all part of the same sea. So, like that, everything in the universe, every galaxy, every solar system, every star, every planet, all the matter on every planet, all, all the matter throughout the universe, all the creatures and beings, the plants, the animals, the human beings, the minds of all creatures, all are one with that universal consciousness. Your own consciousness is an expression, a manifestation of the infinite cosmic consciousness of the universe. Your own consciousness is a reflection of that consciousness. And therefore, we are, all of us, all people, all animals, all plants on this planet, on every other habited planet in the universe, we are all one family. Every living being in this universe is part of the one universal family, and we are all on a journey towards regaining full awareness of our inherent universal infinite consciousness. Now, that's a summary of the philosophy. Of course, there are many other things that I could say about it, but that's a very brief summary in a nutshell. And you
Yeah,
can see, I think you can see from that summary that this yogic philosophy, in particular the Ananda Marga interpretation of the yogic philosophy, is extremely positive and life-affirming.
Yeah.
That we have a purpose to our lives. We are on a journey. We are on a mission. We are moving towards the consummation of our innermost longing and desire. Because our essence is the infinite consciousness, we have a longing for that infinite consciousness within us. We all want to be, because, in Sanskrit they say the essence of Brahma, or the infinite entity, the cosmic entity, is Sat Chit Anandam. So being, consciousness, and bliss. Bliss, or infinite consciousness, infinite happiness, is the essence of infinite consciousness. So therefore, as human beings, we have a deep longing for bliss, for we, of course, we all feel what it would be, what it is, but you can define it in many ways. You can say perfect peace and happiness, infinite happiness. We usually say infinite happiness is bliss. So we all have a
Absolutely.
longing for the infinite happiness, for bliss within ourselves, for total and complete fulfillment. Now, people are disillusioned because they have that longing. We all have that longing, but they don't know how to fulfill it. They think it's unfulfillable. They think, in general, in today's society, because we haven't been given the proper philosophy of life, because the philosophy of materialism has run rampant within our lives, in India and also the rest of the world, also in India, where this beautiful Eastern philosophy originated, even there people are disillusioned because materialism, the philosophy of materialism, has overwhelmed people all over the world. And even in the East, people are feeling that disillusionment, not as much as the West. In particular, in the West, people are feeling disillusionment and depression and anxiety and unhappiness and pessimism because of this terrible philosophy of materialism, which
True.
tells people there is no point to life. You may as well just enjoy yourselves as much as you can. Just make the best of it, and you will be gone in a few years' time. That will be it. Once you die, that's it. So you're just here to, because of an accident of nature or whatever, or coincidence, you just happen to somehow miraculously pop into being, and you'll be gone. So this is a very, very this kind of philosophy and the perspective that it engenders is very negative. It doesn't engender positivity and optimism in people and inspiration and a real sense of worth and mission. But yogic philosophy, in particular the Ananda Marga philosophy, which was propounded by my guru Sri Ananda Murti, is very life affirming and optimistic. And I've found all the answers that I have been looking for within that philosophy, and in particular, not only within the philosophy, because a philosophy is theory. You have to practice in order to really understand and to realize. So I've found the answers within the spiritual practice, and also we have within the spiritual philosophy, and also we have social philosophy as well, because as I said, we are all one family. And so in addition to a spiritual philosophy, we have this social philosophy of oneness and unification and helping one another as much as possible. So within that spiritual and social philosophy, I've found all the theoretical answers that I've been looking for, but also within the spiritual practice itself, you find the answers that you cannot find in theory, that you can find in practice within yourself. So that's the essence of the philosophy.
Wonderful. It's amazing. Dadaji, I have like
I lost you. I can't hear you. You suddenly stopped. I couldn't hear your sound.
hello. Now I'm
Yes,
audible.
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Yeah, yeah.
Could you
So
repeat
as we are
the last half a minute? Yeah.
yes. So as we are talking about consciousness, my question is how to experience that consciousness, how to experience that bliss within us. So
Oh,
you also mentioned that practice. So can you just throw some light on the practical part that you were talking about earlier?
yes. That's the important question. How to experience that? Of course, that's the most important thing. So there is a yogic lifestyle that one can follow. And this is the important thing, to follow that lifestyle, to follow the spiritual lifestyle. I call it the yogic lifestyle because it's the essence of, the essence of that yogic lifestyle is the Ananda Marga spiritual practice. But I'll make it a little bit more general and call it the yogic lifestyle. So first of all, you have many levels, and it starts on the physical level. So first of all, you have to take care of yourself physically. A healthy mind lives in a healthy body. Without a healthy mind, you cannot aspire to a greater experience of awareness within yourself. Your mind must be uh, your mind and body must be healthy. Well, as healthy as you can get them. Of course, perfect health, perfect physical and mental health are not possible, but as good as you can. You have to try to optimize your health, your physical health and your mental health in as much as you can in your given situation in life. So try to optimize, first of all, your physical health, because a healthy mind lives in a healthy body. So in order to do that, there are different practices of health and cleanliness. Cleanliness is important. The way what you eat is not only for your body but also for your mind, and it also impacts on the planet, uh, all the people in the planet, all the animals and plants, and all the beings on the planet are impacted by what you eat. Your physical and mental health are impacted by what you eat. Then you have to have a strong base of morality. So the ethical principles of Jama Niyama. Do you know Jama Niyama? Jama Niyama. So there was a time, you see, this is what I've been talking about. There was a time when everyone in India would have known Jama Niyama, the moral principles, the 5 Jama or Yama and 5 Niyama. But now, because of this, because of the great spiritual philosophy of our past has been neglected, and not many people know about it now. So these are very important principles. Non-harm, which doesn't mean that you should never use force against anybody, because sometimes you have to be forceful. Sometimes, for example, if you are being attacked by someone or something, you must defend yourself. If you have a duty and obligation to try to help that person, you must eat something. It doesn't mean that you must never harm any living being, but you should try to only eat those beings that are less developed in their evolutionary journey. For example, plants. It's ethical non-harm, the principle of non-harm would say that you should only eat plants if you have access to enough plants to sustain yourself. You should only eat plants. So there principle of ahimsa or non-harm. Then, for example, truthfulness. You should try to be, or rather, I wouldn't say, because sometimes it creates more harm if you tell the truth. Of course, most of the time you should tell the truth, but there are situations where if you tell the truth, then not. So I would say that satya, the second principle, is rather than truthfulness, it's benevolent use of words. You should always try to make sure what you say is benevolent. It's helpful to others. It will help others. And then non-stealing, simple living, not to hoard wealth, to have what you need, but not to covet what you don't have, because this is also related to contentment. If you're always trying to have more, if you always think, oh, I should get the latest this or the latest that and have more, I don't have enough, then you will never be content. So the idea is to have what you need, but not to hanker too much for what you don't have. Always try service is a very big part of this as well. So these principles are very important especially for mental health and contentment. We all have a conscience. We all have conscience. And one of the most important parts in following a yogic lifestyle is to always try to do the right thing so that your conscience is clear. Many people, they feel their mind is disturbed because their conscience is not clear. They know they didn't do the right thing regarding this or that. They know it. So of course it's difficult always to do the right thing, but the more you can do the right thing in any given situation, the clearer your conscience will be. There's this saying in English, some people, they can't even sleep at night because their conscience is not clear. It means that I'm not only talking about sleeping at night. I'm not saying that it's important to sleep at night because, it's not necessarily important to sleep all night. But what I'm saying is that without a clear conscience, you cannot go deeper. Your mind will be too disturbed to go deeper and to discover your inner beauty and your inner self. So the moral principles, yama and niyama, are very important. I've given a few examples. I mentioned social service. Social service is part of helping others, as part of yama and niyama, but I want to also talk about this now. Helping others is a very important part of the spiritual lifestyle. And it goes, or rather, what I will say that what we've been brought up with kind of goes against that, because I'm talking especially in the West, we've been brought up with this very individualistic view on life, in that you should try to get as much as you can for yourself. But of course, I don't think people really believe that anymore. I was brought up with it in the West where I was young. But I think it's people have realized by now that this doesn't work. There's that saying, it's the giving rather than the taking that really makes a difference, and people know that by now. It's important to give of yourself. Of course, it's important to have whatever you need for your own well-being, physical and mental and spiritual well-being, but part of that is to also give of yourself when you see someone in need, to try to help them in whichever way you can. So that's a big part of spiritual practice. Then we have, for example, asanas, yoga postures, we call asanas. So in the West also, asanas became very popular about 20 or 30 years ago. And since then, there's been a huge explosion of, people practicing asanas or yoga postures. And in the beginning, people thought, oh, that's synonymous with yoga. But no, what I'm talking about now is yoga. Yoga means the whole lifestyle is yoga, because yoga means unification. Yoga means becoming one with your inner self, the infinite consciousness of the universe, unifying your own individual consciousness with the infinite consciousness or the cosmic consciousness. So yoga postures is one aspect of the yogic lifestyle, and we call those asanas. Then there's kirtana. Kirtan means chanting. Kirtan has also become popular in the West of late. And it's been a tradition or a part of Indian life. Mahaprabhu, 500 years ago, he introduced his kirtan. Do you know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He lived in Bengal 500 years ago. And he had a, because he was very spiritually evolved, and he used to meditate. And then one day he had a realization that actually most people, they can't meditate like me, because they can't, their minds are not prepared to meditate. So he had a realization that they can't meditate, they should do kirtan. So kirtan means chanting the name of the Lord, a name for infinite consciousness. And this has the effect of purifying the mind towards a state of mind where one can close one's eyes and meditate. And so this brings me to the last principle. Of course, we can go into a lot more detail about the yogic lifestyle, or the lifestyle of yoga, but I've just given a quick summary here. Practice, and the most important one in the core practice is meditation. Everybody must practice meditation. I can't emphasize it enough, because I've been practicing it for almost 30 years now, and the effect on my mind and my whole life has been just, I can't begin to tell you what an effect it's had on me.
Yeah, it would be great if you can share some of your experience.
Share. Well, yeah, okay. So, meditation means because usually we're living in the world and we're doing all the different things that we need to do in order to take care of ourselves individually, and also to take care of those that are dependent on our friends, contributing to our community in whichever way we can, making the world a better place in whichever way we can. So we're living in this world, and we're trying to live in this world in such a way that we optimize our own physical and mental well-being, and the family and friends and fellow human beings. And also we should try to also optimize the well-being of animals and plants as well, as much as possible. So we're doing all those things. Of course, we have to take care of our worldly objective reality and existence. But at the same time, I mentioned before that there is a purpose in the yogic philosophy, and our purpose here on this planet, on Earth, to move closer and closer towards a state of what we in yoga we call self-realization. That is the realization of our own consciousness as the infinite consciousness of the universe. Now, according to yogic philosophy, that journey, we're all moving towards that state of realization. So, or in fact, our subjective, I said our object, we have to take care of our objective reality, but our subjective duty is to take care of that movement towards our subjective reality, and that is the awareness of ourselves as the greater self, the increased awareness of our own being as one with the greater being, our own limited sense of being as one with the infinite being, the infinite consciousness of the universe, our own consciousness as one with the infinite consciousness. Now, so we do that with meditation. And so what that means is that apart from all the other things we have to do in our lives, twice a day, at least twice a day minimum, in the morning and in the evening, we take time out to sit down, close our eyes. In the West, this would be called me time. Close our eyes, look within, and we use a mantra with the consciousness within ourselves to connect with our inner feeling of, our innermost feeling of existence, our innermost feeling of being and bliss. And it's within each and every one of us, but people are upset or anxious or depressed or annoyed or angry or whatever because they don't with it. I was like this before I started meditating. I was very much up and down emotionally, but I found that with regular practice of meditation, you become more emotionally down, and you become more positive, optimistic, because regularly, every day, twice a day, you are connecting, or at least you're trying to connect. When you try to do something, eventually you will do it. You are trying to connect with that inner rock of peace and bliss within yourself. Now, the more you do that, the more you will feel it, the more you will experience it, the greater your awareness will be, the greater awareness of bliss and happiness within yourself and within all others. So this is very important. And certainly I've found that it was a little bit difficult. Of course, it's, well, not just a little bit difficult. It's, if I, for example, the ease with which I, of course, I'm not there yet. I'm not like I'm not an expert. I mean, I'm still getting there, but the ease with which I can meditate now compared to the difficulty which it took when I started. I mean, you improve over time. It takes a lot of time to, but the most important thing is that you practice every day. First of all, most important thing is that you start practicing, and that you make it a daily practice, and then you practice every day, and then gradually, because it's not an immediate result. However, as soon as you start practicing, you will notice an immediate change within yourself. But that will gradually improve over time. you will notice an immediate change. And sometimes actually you can, sometimes it doesn't always happen, but sometimes you can have very blissful experiences in meditation as soon as you start meditating. It's like discovering a long lost friend, or coming home for the first time, and then you suddenly feel, oh, I'm home, or I've discovered my long lost friend within myself. So it's like and it's also, it's the universal consciousness can also give you a kind of a sign that you're on the right path by giving you a very blissful experience almost immediately. That can happen. It doesn't always happen. But what I've found is that since I started meditation, certainly, and you can have uh, you don't always have blissful experiences in meditation. Sometimes it can be a struggle because you're working on yourself. It's the process of gradually chipping away at what your inner work, what you have to do internally. And so the sooner we start, the better. The problem in the West up till now, of course, meditation has become, and also in India, it's become, uh, well, recently meditation has become popular, more and more popular in the West. But also in India, it was forgotten for a long time.
Yes.
Even though the tradition of meditation was very strong in India hundreds of years ago and thousands of years ago, especially. Recently, it was forgotten, but I think all around the world, it is becoming, people are rediscovering, and and the important thing is to uh, to practice it, because you know if one doesn't practice meditation, one doesn't get that inner strength and connection. We need that inner strength and connection. Otherwise, we we feel we have the tendency to feel lost emotionally. That's why people are feeling lost emotionally, because they don't have that inner contact, that inner connection with their inner selves, that regular connection with their inner selves.
Yes, that's amazing. And I love how you just broke down it. And what you said is very much relating to me. But I have one doubt here that when you say that connect with the consciousness, connect with, so do we have to follow a set of steps or a set of protocols for that? How to do that when we say connect with that universal consciousness, connect with yourself?
So there is a process that, first of all, it's ideal if you can learn your personal meditation technique, which will include your personal mantra. But in the meantime, I can give you a quick idea or a quick summary of what that meditation process would be like. So you would close your eyes and imagine, or you might like to, first of all, imagine that you're in a very peaceful place. You're in a very peaceful situation, like you're sitting on top of a mountain, or you're sitting in the middle of a beautiful, peaceful forest, or whatever situation you feel the most peaceful in. Then you try to feel that you are surrounded by happiness, surrounded by peace and happiness, surrounded by infinite happiness. Try to feel that your own being, your own sense of self, is surrounded by an infinite being, an infinite self, and that is full of happiness, infinite happiness. So you are sitting within a sea of infinite happiness. And then you can, for example, you can repeat the Baba Nam Kevalam mantra. Baba means your innermost feeling of bliss and happiness, your most beloved sense of self, Baba. Nam means to feel or to identify with, to connect with, and Kevalam means only. So Baba Nam Kevalam means only to feel, only to connect with that infinite feeling of my most beloved feeling of infinite happiness within myself and all around myself.
Okay, so do I have
So
to
you would
repeat this
repeat the mantra, Baba Nam Kevalam, and at the same time feel that you are surrounded by infinite happiness. That infinite happiness is also within you, and the infinite happiness within you is becoming one with the infinite happiness all around you.
Okay.
That's the basis of the meditation.
Okay.
And your viewers can practice that meditation anytime they like, just as I've described it now. And if they would like to learn their own personal mantra with a bit of more of an expanded technique, I've given the basic version here. But if anyone would like to learn their personal mantra with the more expanded technique, then they should let me know, and I will try to put them in touch with an Ananda Marga meditation teacher in their area in order to learn.
Sure. Sure. Very well you put it, Dadaji. And so to build up that question, like if I'm talking about youngster, like we are very energetic and we are very passionate about our goals, and also we are occupied in our life. So my question is, the benefit would be the same, or it would be different, as you mentioned earlier?
The benefit for young people compared to older people, are you saying?
Yeah, yeah. So are we have to
Your sound cut out. The last 5 or 10 seconds, I couldn't hear you. I still can't hear you.
hello? Now am I audible?
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you just repeat that last 10 seconds?
Yeah, so my question is, do we have to put extra efforts to gain those benefits? Like, as our lifestyle is different and we live our life in a different way.
Well, you know, young people are more receptive to new ideas than older people are. So, generally speaking, the younger you are, uh, the the better is the time. Rather, I should say, the better time. It's better to start meditation as young as possible, from the age of 5 years or so onwards is the best. But of course, most of us we don't start from 5. But better is earlier is better than later, because the mind is more receptive, and the mind is sharper and clearer and more receptive the younger you are. So it's good if you, okay, when you're young, of course, you're more active and you're more, you have a lot more social things going on, and so many, the mind is going in so many different directions. It's true. However, if you follow the yogic lifestyle, it will be just as easy, if not easier, and a lot more effective compared to an older person, what the meditation you do. You just have to clear the space. So as a young person, say, for example, you're doing a lot of things, you're studying, you have a group of friends, you have all the social connections that you're keeping up with, you're doing so many different things, well and good, well and good, but also take time out and tell your family and friends, this is what I do. So don't disturb me at this time. Okay, you can tell them from 6 to 7 a.m. and from 6 to 7 p.m. I am meditating. That's my meditation time. That's my me time. And during that time, you might not start off with an hour in the morning or an hour in the evening. You could say you can start off with half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. That makes 1 hour a day, 1 hour out of 24 hours. It's not a lot to take out of your day. You can still have enough time to do all the other things that you need to do. It's not a lot, especially considering it's so important for your spiritual well-being and your mental and physical well-being. So the important thing is to clear the space every day to do the meditation, and then you can run wild and do all the things you do the rest of the day. You just have to say, for example, okay, to be realistic, clear an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. Let's say 2 hours a day, because half of that, or some of that, you want to do your, say for example, you do kirtan, you sing Bhavanam Kevalam for 10, 15 minutes, then you do 20 to 30 minutes meditation, and then you do 20 minutes asanas, yoga postures. So that's your spiritual practice. You do that for an hour in the morning and you do that for an hour in the evening, and tell all your friends what you're doing so they also benefit. They can also practice and benefit. And then gradually more and more people will do it. So you can start a movement, not only within yourself, but around yourself. So you're doing that, you're clearing space an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, and then you have the whole rest of the day to do all the multitude of things that not only young people, but all of us have to do these days with all the different multilateral, we're living online as well as offline, where we have so many things, and at times it can seem overwhelming. Now, but if you're practicing meditation, it will not seem overwhelming anymore. It will give you the strength of mind, it will peace of mind, and it will give you the ability and the capacity to do all the other things that you need. In fact, you'll be saving time by doing meditation. Usually, sometimes people say to me, I don't have time for meditation. If people say to me, I don't have time for meditation, I tell them you need to do more meditation. The more efficiently and the better you do. Does that make sense? Probably not.
Yeah. Yes. No. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah. I understand. I completely agree. What I was saying, I completely agree with you.
So what I want to say is, it's because especially young people, they're feeling very disillusioned these days, right? Because they're wondering what is going on. Life has become so complicated, and there's so many different types of social interaction. It used to be very simple, and we could keep it under control and we could cope with it. But now it's so complicated, and there are so many things going on, different types of social interactions and problems that we have to deal with. And at the same time, people, and especially young people, they feel that what is their purpose? What am I doing here? Economically, also, economic hardship is getting tougher and tougher and tougher. I know here in the West, people used to be able to look forward to buying a house and starting a family and buying a house with relative ease, but now people have that they can't see that as a possibility because it's become too difficult. So people can become pessimistic and disillusioned because life has become so complicated and expensive, and there's so many things to get through. But the important thing to keep in mind is that there is a purpose on a mission, and we can fulfill our mission, fulfill our inner need for peace and love and happiness, and also to help others to do the same thing by following the proper system of yoga and meditation. That's the message that I give your viewers, that there is a purpose and we have the means to fulfill our purpose, and we should do that, as well as doing all the other things that we need to do. We don't need to give up anything. We just need to add these aspects of the yogic lifestyle to our own lifestyle.
Yes, true. I think this is the beautiful message for our young generation, that we can find our purpose, and according to that we can lead our life. So I have one interesting question here. So many people say that if you want to experience that divine bliss, so is it always necessary that people have to leave their household and stay in ashram to be experience that divine bliss and universal consciousness?
No, not at all. Not at all. As I was just saying, you don't need to give up anything. This was the case in the past, that they said, oh, you need to leave everything and become a renunciate. No, not at all. I'm a renunciate. I'm a yogic monk. I don't have a personal family myself. I mean, my own, I don't have a wife and children or whatever. But most people would. So those that want to leave, that don't want to have their own family and want to dedicate themselves to meditation and social service, well and good. They can become like me and become a renunciate. But most people don't want to do that. Most people want to have a family and want to have a career and want to live in society as normal people. So that's fine. There's no need to leave anything. There's no need to give up anything. In the past, the human psychology and the practice was not as evolved, was not as refined as it is now. But nowadays, our human psychology is more refined, and we have a practice which is much more refined. And so it's much more effective. We can practice in a much shorter period of time. We only need, as I was saying, an hour, or even half an hour in the morning, half an hour. If you're really in a rush, better to say at least 1 hour for my spiritual practices in the morning and 1 hour in the evening. But if you're really in a rush, you can do it in half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening, as I was saying before, one hour a day. Do that. Of course, more is better, but you can even do it in 1 hour a day. And then, as I was saying, you have the rest of the day to take care of your individual family and your work, things that you need to take care of. So there is absolutely no need to leave your present situation. If you want to live a normal life with a family and normal people do, then that's fine.
Yes, even I do agree with the majority of thoughts that you just
shared. This system of yoga and meditation is for everybody.
Yes.
And everybody should practice it, in my view. I highly recommend it.
Sure. Great. Yes, even I also agree with your thoughts. And moving to another question, that why are people in today's generation suffering more and more from mental health issues? Like, what are your views on mental health? Is it that they are
because,
not
as I
doing
was
meditation?
saying, well, it's because, as I was saying before, it's because of this sense of disconnection that our society is giving us more and more and more, because of the materialist outlook, the materialist philosophy that we're being fed every day through the media. Even in India, I see it through the media, through the education system, through the middle class in India, for example, suffers from the same materialistic outlook as the middle class in the West. It's this materialistic outlook that is causing and more of a materialistic outlook. It's come to a crisis point. Hopefully it won't get any more now, but it's come to a crisis point that in India, as well as in the West, this increasingly materialistic outlook has fostered a feeling of disconnection and a feeling of no purpose and no self-worth. We need to reinstate within our lives a life-affirming outlook and philosophy and practice. Due to the absence of this life-affirming and life purpose affirming and life mission affirming outlook and practice, due to an absence of it, people are getting more and more anxious, depressed, and people have more and more mental health problems. So we need to reinstate it within our lives. This is the essential point. If people have mental health issues, anything wrong with them? No, there is nothing wrong with you if you have mental health issues. You just have not found the right. Of course, there are pathological mental health issues that I'm not including here. There might be some, brain conditions or something like that also. But in general, people have mental health issues because of this sense of disconnection and this sense of disassociation with one's life purpose and with one's inner self. Needs to have a belief and not only a belief. Actually, one doesn't even need to have a belief in it, but one needs to have the regular experience of self, connecting with a deeper sense of self than you usually experience in your everyday awakening state of mind. If you can have, through meditation and through all the other practices that I've talked about, that regular connection with a deeper sense of self within yourself, then you will not have whatever mental health problems you have will gradually decrease. As I said before, when practicing meditation, you will gradually get more and more of a sense of well-being within yourself, sense of happiness, a sense of bliss within yourself. In parallel with that, of course, your feelings of your negative feelings of depression and anxiety and whatever other feelings you are having will decrease. And then gradually you will feel more and more fulfilled within yourself, and you will feel more and more empowered and capable and empathetic towards others to help others.
Yes.
So this is the thing. We don't need medication, we need meditation.
Okay.
Meditation is what we do. Yeah.
Yeah. But if someone is suffering from a mental health issue, like serious mental health issue, so what do you suggest to people? Of course, meditation.
That's another matter, of course. Like, for example, schizophrenia or manic depression are more serious conditions that we need to consider. In that case, medication may be needed, but in general, people are not suffering from those very serious mental health issues. Am I right, or correct me if I'm wrong? But in general, people are suffering more from neuroses rather than what's it called? What are the more serious ones called? I used to know the name. Anyway, but kirtan will help everybody. Those suffering from normal depression and anxiety as a result of the world that we're living in, as well as those suffering from serious mental health issues, very serious pathological mental health issues, everybody will benefit from kirtan. Now, it may be that not everybody can practice meditation, but most of us will be able to practice meditation in some form or other. But at least all of us can. This is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he gave kirtan as a great spiritual practice 500 years ago. So this is why kirtan is very important. Are you there? I just lost you. Hello? Oh, you're back.
Yeah, sorry, I lost the connection. Repeat what you were saying. I'm really sorry for.
No problem. Okay, so just to sum up on that point, you were saying, what about people with more serious mental health issues? Kirtan is beneficial for everybody. So, for example, sing Bhavanam Kevalam, Kirtan mantra. That's all you have to do. You can prescribe it to those that with very serious mental health issues also. Sing Bhavanam Kevalam Kirtan. And you can on YouTube, for example, if you YouTube Bhavanam Kevalam, you will get many different tunes that you can sing along to, or you can sing by yourself. You can play an instrument. You can make up your own tunes. Just do kirtan. Of course, it's better if you can also do meditation. So usually we practice kirtan first. We do kirtan first, and then we practice meditation afterwards.
Yes. amazing, but I would also love to know, like, what are your views on visiting a counselor or a psychologist or any mental health practitioner if this is not working? Like, for some people, if this is not working, uh, what is your opinion on visiting mental health practitioner, like psychologist, counselor, who are not usually give medication, but they talk with other people in such a way that people get an insight and also the way to resolve his or her problem.
It may be helpful. It may be helpful. I can't say. But of course, it would need to be assessed on an individual case-by-case basis. It may well be helpful. But what I can say is that the more one practices the yogic life, all the things I talked about, health and physical health and cleanliness, yama niyama, principles of morality, eat a
Yes,
sentient vegetarian diet, perform asanas, yoga postures, sing bhavanam, kevalam, kirtan, perform meditation every day. The more one does all those things, the less one would have the need to talk to others about one's mental health condition. So it may well be helpful for people to see a counselor or a psychologist or a mental health professional uh, in any given moment or situation. But the more one practices kirtan and meditation and all the other yogic practices, the less one would feel the need to consult with others
yes, I agree with
about
that.
life.
Like, it will act as a prevention. Like, if we follow a set of yogic life, or if we follow a set of spiritual practice, then it would be act as a prevention to visit mental health practitioner for any mental health issue.
Hmm.
But if the person is reached to that stage, yeah, if the person having any kind of, I'm not talking about only a serious mental health disorder, I'm also talking about the mild level of symptoms. So I think in that case, the both spiritual practice and mental health practitioner both will play a major role to help the
Yes,
people and to bring the transformation.
sure, sure. To anybody,
Yeah.
do what you feel is best for yourself. Do what you have to do. You may feel it's beneficial to professional practitioner. Well and good, but also practice meditation. Like for
Yes,
example,
of
if
course.
somebody says to me, "Oh, I'm smoking. How can I practice meditation? I'm smoking or I'm drinking." Don't worry. Just continue whatever you're doing, and but also do meditation. This is the point. You must also do meditation as well as anything else you do in your life. Do your meditation and other spiritual
Yes.
practices that I've outlined.
Yes. So I
Now,
think we
it,
both.
it, hmm,
Yes, you were saying something,
I
Dada.
can I can
Please
give a
continue.
link. Uh, if people want more of an introduction into the yogic lifestyle and spiritual practice that I've been talking about, they can go to this link. I just sent the link in the chat box for you. You can share it with
Okay.
your audience, and if you go
Sure.
to that website, you can subscribe for a kind of a little intro course that will give you an introduction into the yogic practices that I've been talking about. And as I said before, this is not fast food. It's not an instant result, but pretty much in all cases, you will find that you benefit from the practice as soon as you start it. You will find that you start to benefit from it, and the benefit that you get from it increases more and more the more you practice. So I would really recommend that, as we've been talking about, continue all the other things that you've been doing in your life according to your situation and your need, but also do the spiritual practice. Also take time out every day to really be with yourself in the deepest sense of the word, to close your eyes and to really try to connect with your inner self. Because, as I said, it's that disconnection with self that is causing the negative feeling. We need to increase the connection to self. And that connection to self is through meditation.
True. Yes. So let me check
So
if you have any question.
I would say to people, don't despair. There is a great purpose to your life that will be fulfilled at one time or at one point or another. Sometime you will fulfill your greatest innermost desire for peace and inner happiness. That is a given. That is a given. It's only a question of time. Right? So don't despair. Always be optimistic. Have hope. Have hope that there is a great purpose to your life. But of course, it's easier to say. But the best way to have that hope and to increase that hope and to increase that optimism and positivity, of course, is to start practicing. So no matter what you're feeling, you may even not agree with anything I've said, or you may not believe what I've been talking, the ideas that I've been talking about. It doesn't matter. Just sit down and try it. When I first learned meditation, my teacher said to me, just do an experiment, practice meditation for a month, and then at the end of the month, you can assess whether it's doing you any good and whether you want to continue or not. Well, about a year later, I suddenly remembered I was supposed to assess it at 1 month, but I didn't even worry about that. I just kept going. So the best thing is just to start practicing regularly, and you will find that if you practice regularly, you will experience the benefits, and the more you practice, the more you will experience the benefits.
Yes. So as we come at the end of today's episode, let me check if our audience have any questions. Dada, there is one question from Mansi. Sometimes we want to achieve success in our career and also a spiritual success. So how can we achieve both? How to balance? I think that's what she is trying to ask.
How to balance? Well, as I said, you have to find time for both. You just have to clear the space, the physical space. Optimize your situation. So say, for example, whatever your living situation is, find a place where you will only sit for meditation. That's the only thing you use it for. If you have a special room, well and good. If you don't have a special room, just find a corner somewhere. It might be a corner in your room. It might be at the end of the balcony or the veranda. It might be in the garden. It might be even in the cupboard or in the closet. If you don't have any other space, sit somewhere. Find somewhere which is your special me place, your meditation place. And then, as I said before, tell your family and your friends that this is the time. From this time to this time, I will be practicing my spiritual practice, my meditation. Please don't disturb me during that time. Unless, of course, it's an emergency. Clear the space, both the physical space and the psychic space. Clear the space and time to practice every day. Make the space. And And then there are many other tips that you can, of course, finding a little bit of time just to relax beforehand, then do some kirtan, then do your meditation. In that way, you can, if people sign up for that, or if you follow that course the link that I've given, you will get these tips and hints and different little practices that you can do. We don't have time to talk about them all now, but it's a matter of strategizing. It's a matter of clearing the space, and it's a matter of optimizing your life and circumstances so that you have the time every day, twice a day, to practice, as well as all the other things you have to do.
Yes.
Is it okay? Have I
I
answered
hope,
the
Mansi,
question, or?
yeah, I hope, Mansi, you got your answer. Yeah, I think she got her answer. Yes.
And you can, as I said before, this is for everybody, and you don't need any equipment. You don't need even yourself. So everybody can practice this. It's for it doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter what your country is. It doesn't matter what your race is. It doesn't matter what your gender is. Everybody can practice. Okay, this is one of the beautiful things about this spiritual practice, because it's totally internal. You only need yourself. You don't need any bells or whistles or anything else. If you like, you can set up the table with flowers and incense and candle, whatever you like. That's well and good. If you want, if you like, you can do that, but you don't need all those things. You get the point?
Yes. Perfect. So as we come at the end of today's episode, thank you so much for your time and wisdom, and I'm very grateful to you for taking out of time from your busy schedule and sharing your precious knowledge with us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure that, and I'm sure your insight will help us to get more clarity in our life, and I have a wonderful time with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaskar, everybody.
Namaskar. Thank you so much, audience, for your time and for your valuable time and your inputs. And I'm going to see you all next week on Sunday. And the episode is about the philosophy of art of living. So thank you. Stay tuned. Yeah.
I'm giving you my email also. If you want to forward my email to people, then if they have any questions, they could also email me.
Sure. So could you just share? Yeah, okay, I got your mail. Let me share.
Okay, sister. Well, let me know if there's anything else, but I'm very happy to have spent this time with you. Okay, take care.
Take care.